What's going on, everybody on YouTube? Steve here with Rake and Profit over at rakeandprofit.com, coming to you guys with another live show. And we have a special guest on today's live show. We actually have my buddy Charles from the is it the Amazon FBA Coach Chaz? What's your actual channel called on YouTube? Because it confused me.
Yeah, for sure. I have a lot of confusing terms out there right now. So it's just called Amazon FBA with Chaz.
Okay.
Is what the whole thing is called. Coach Chaz, I'm actually not an FBA coach, and this is why it throws people off. I come from a full-time health and fitness business, and that my brand that people know me by is Coach Chaz.
Awesome.
So I didn't want to like rebrand or anything. So I'm not an FBA coach, but that's kind of what
the bait and switch. No, I'm just kidding. That's a little inside joke we had before the show. But yeah, really excited to have Charles on the live show. Linked all of his information down below in the description. And if you guys see me looking this way, it's because I actually have another computer monitor with some notes and whatnot on it. But all of his information is in the description. His Facebook, his YouTube. He actually has a very popular Facebook group, which is called the Amazon FBA Rockstars. Correct?
Yep.
And he just hit, I want to congratulate you, Charles, over 8,000 members in your Facebook group, which is super important. And because it's a big milestone. It is. It's really a big milestone to hit that many people. And it's inspiring to know that there's so many people out there who want to learn and grow and build their business. So yeah, congratulations on that, Charles.
Thank you.
Check out all the links below in the description. But yeah, Charles sells on Amazon FBA, hence his YouTube handle. And he's been doing it for a while. I was looking over a lot of his videos, and he messes with a lot of various different methods. One thing is liquidation, which somebody messaged me behind the scenes and said, you got to ask him about liquidation. But why don't you tell everybody about who you are, how you got started in selling an Amazon FBA, and why people should listen to you.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for having me on the call. It's funny because Steve reached out to me and said, hey, dude, I'd love to do a collab. And I'm like, wait, why does that sound familiar? I didn't know you by Steve. I just knew Rake and Profits. And so I'm like, wait, who's this Steve guy? And then I checked out the channel. Oh, crap. I've been watching this dude since I started. So I started back in my first shipment was November 18th. Of 2015. So I've been at it just about 7 full months now. And I got into this because I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I've learned to develop that I will never work for anyone else mentality. And anyone else who is a full-time entrepreneur, once you make the switch, you can never go back. So I was running full-time health and fitness business online. Also running a massage therapy business for myself, which was my first passion, my first career. I've been doing that for over 8 years. And I basically just created our second bedroom into a massage studio. And that's what I've been running my own clients out of.
Sweet.
So, of course, entrepreneurs, we never settle on just one income, right? Even if you're making bank, we're always looking for that new one. Steve did a video on his 10 ways of creating an income. I'm like, holy crap, that's what I'm doing too. I love it. I love stacking that income. And so I went to a Get Motivated seminar. Get Motivated is this big, like, I call it a try before you buy type seminar. So they have all these big time speakers. I actually got to see Les Brown was at this one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh man, nuts. So and Amy Roloff, if you guys watch Little People, Big World.
Okay.
We had her. They're actually located just an hour north of me at their farm is up here in Oregon. So I went to this Get Motivated seminar. Everyone goes up there for about 30 minutes. There's 8 speakers and they do their little pitch and then their big sale at the end saying, okay, you can pay this much money to come to my 3-day event. This guy, Adam Ginsberg, I don't know if you know that name at all.
I'm not sure.
This dude is under the radar, but it's insane the level that he's selling at. So he's a full-time Amazon eBay seller. He wrote tons of books, all that kind of stuff. And he gets up there and starts talking about this e-commerce thing. I knew about eBay. I never looked into it. I never purchased from eBay because I was the person who used to think like eBay is just a bunch of junk. You're going to get scammed if you buy from there, that whole mentality. I ended up going to his 30-minute little sit-down class, did his spiel, and then the second half of it, he gets out of the eBay stuff and he says, okay, now you want to make some real money. All of a sudden I'm like, huh, okay, tell me more. And so he starts talking about Amazon. And I was the person who never understood how Amazon worked. I used Prime all the time for my personal purchases. I just knew I got free 2-day shipping. And I thought Amazon was like the seller of everything, right? So throughout his class, he basically taught the bare bones basics of how it works. And I learned that Amazon is just a giant warehouse that sells other people's stuff is how it works. So I got intrigued. I thought, I can probably get into this. I can go find some stuff and I can go sell. So I paid the $49, took his 3-day seminar. There's 140 people on day 1, 40 people finished. And out of those 40 to 50 people were on day 3. And out of those 40 or 50 people, he looked each of us dead in the eye as he's doing his closing speech. He said, there's only going to be about 10 of you that do anything with this. And it was like, it hit me like a brick where I'm like, done. I'm going to be one of those 10, if not number 1. And I just went home. I got home on a Sunday. Monday, I went out and did my first haul. I went to Walgreens, and our clearance section was about 2 small shelves. And I bought a perfume because I scanned it. And even though it popped up restricted, I didn't really know what that meant. And so I bought it anyways because there's like $4 profit, right? So I was going to spend $10 and make $4. And I brought it home. All of a sudden, I sit down and start doing some more research. I'm like, oh, crap, I can't even sell this thing. It's got this hazmat warning on it. So that's kind of how I got my start.
That's awesome.
Once I rolled into getting more into this, that's when the whole liquidation scene came out. I did everything that I was not supposed to do as a newbie. 3 weeks into it, after sending my first shipments, I was at $1,500 in sales. And this is where I made that first big YouTube video that everyone knows me by, is the big bulk pallet, right? I kept asking in different various groups, well, what's this bulk.com that I'm seeing floating around? It was a pretty new company. It started in October. This was December. And I was asking around, like, should I buy from these guys? It looks like you get a big box of cool stuff that I can sell. Everything goes on Amazon, right? And everyone told me, no, 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 no. And just like I said in that video, I don't like reading reviews. I don't like taking people's word for things. Like, I want to just do it myself. I'm a big fan of trial and error and experience. And that's where that whole video kind of came about. So that's kind of how I got started.
Yeah, that's
this whole thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate you, Charles, sharing that story. And everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. But one thing that I've noticed about people who actually have success, and you've obviously been having a lot of success, and you've created a lot of videos teaching people how to succeed as well, is that each successful person made that decision to take action. You can go to any seminar, you can watch all the videos in the world, you can buy all the inventory, but if you don't actually take action, nothing comes to fruition. So I want to congratulate you, man, on taking action. And yeah, there's a lot of people in the comment feed right now. I'm looking at my other screen. Wanted to shout out Pierce Kong saying he subscribed. We got Joha, Josh Fisher, Brockton in the house, Good Use Goods. My buddy Timothy Fisk. What's going on, Tim? Sales Survivor. A lot of people watching live right now. So I want to thank everybody for watching live to come hang out with Charles and I want to ask you guys for a few favors. Number one, make sure to smash that like button and show some love if you enjoy these live shows. Really helps us to, stay motivated to keep putting out content for you guys and making free videos. And also, if you are watching live right now and you're on your desktop, on the right-hand side of the screen, there is a comment feed. Be sure to get in there, interact, ask a question if you can. We're going to do our best to answer questions as well. But with that being said, let's dive into the show. I've got some questions on my other screen. So again, if you see me turning, I'm not trying to break the eye contact, but I am trying to.
The eyes.
I'm gonna look you in the eyes, Charles. But yeah, let's talk about what are some of the best ways to source products. So let's just say somebody's watching live right now. Maybe they're, we're gonna tailor this video for the beginner and the intermediate. Let's say somebody's just getting started, or maybe they've only been in business for 3 or 4 months. What are some of the top methods that you'd advise people to go out there in order to be able to source products, to be able to sell on Amazon FBA, to be able to send into the warehouses, and to be able to start making some sales?
I think my biggest tip, and the one that has helped us out, I completely forgot to mention, my wife and I do this together now. So we have a little boy, Titus, 18 months old. And my wife was working at a job that she hated. Basically, my other business brought me home from my job 3 years ago. And Amazon was able to bring her home 4 months ago. So now we do this pretty much full time. She takes care of like the eBay stuff that I don't like.
Who likes it?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we do this together. And we've been, we were talking about this show yesterday, and she's like, oh, we should just share all the failures because we have way more of those than successes. I'm like, that's kind of how this whole thing works. So my biggest tip I can give you is, and this works for everything, like for the newbie wanting to get started, for the intermediate that wants to scale up and get advanced. This one tip can really help out because it helped us out when we sat down and did it. It's set a sourcing schedule. That has been the number one thing that we have done that really helped out, because I meant, I was watching a couple of your videos yesterday, actually, and I heard you mention like you do a lot of stuff, right? You're always all over the place. And time management is a big, big thing to take control of. And so I'm kind of the same way where it's like, run multiple businesses. We have an active family and friends life, and we're trying to find balance in this stuff. So what we did is we sat down and said, we cannot keep just going about our day and saying, oh, there's a 2-hour block today, let's go out and try to source, right? And then we might not source for a week. And then crap, we just missed a shipment on a whole week. And then we're going to have a crap sales week 2 weeks down the road because of that. So what we did was we sat down, we said, okay, let's look at the calendar. Thursdays, we can maneuver some stuff to make a full 6 to 8 hour day. So Thursdays we have set specifically for RA. That's or I guess RA/thrift, because thrifting is, it's kind of like its own beast. It's its own category. So we do RA and thrifting solely on Thursdays. I hit the gym every single morning, 6:30 a.m. and then I'm home, shower, and boom, we're out the door. We don't come back until we have a good load. So if we hit 2 stores and we have a huge trunk full of stuff, we might just call it a day and come home early. If we hit 8 stores and we have half a trunk load, we're not coming home until that thing is full. So we have set a schedule. Now that we're in full-time garage sale season, we just did our first actual garage sale haul a few days ago.
I saw your video, man. That was awesome.
Crap. I'm so addicted to it right now. It's I have all the stuff sitting right here getting shipped out today. So now we have added Friday and Saturday mornings from most of our garage sales start at 8, so I put 7:30, but 7:30 to noon is garage sales time, both Fridays and Saturdays, and they have to be non-negotiable. I don't care if family events come up. I don't care if somebody wants to hang out, if business stuff comes up, it's set aside. We have a specific schedule. So that'd be probably my number one tip I would give people right now.
Yeah, that's so true. I can tell you right now, from coming from firsthand experience over the last 3 years, if you're just watching this video and maybe you haven't gotten started or you've only been doing this for a while, there's such a strong correlation between, whether it's eBay or Amazon, listing your items and getting it out, right? Listing on eBay or shipping it out to the warehouses and making sales. If you miss a week, and I can tell you right now, speaking of failures, I've been kind of dropping the ball over the last 3 weeks in my Amazon business, to be 100% transparent. And I think I've shipped out maybe 1 or 2 shipments, which isn't enough for me. And my sales have been down probably about 40%. So while Amazon FBA is somewhat passive in a sense, if you don't keep feeding the beast, as we all like to say in this industry, if you don't continue shipping, your sales are going to dwindle out. So that's huge right there. Definitely, creating blocks of time. Now, is there a certain amount of items you're looking for? Like, for example, for me to keep my sales at what I try to do, and I typically do anywhere between $5 to $8 grand per month on Amazon FBA. That's what I do on a part-time basis. I've got to ship out at least 50 to 100 items per week based on my business model and the items I go after. Do you have like a number in terms of what you try to ship out per week, or like maybe you say I have to have 3 shipments of X amount of items? Do you have a number like that, or is it a little different?
Yeah, we typically, it's funny. I think our businesses are like exact the same models based on the numbers I'm hearing. Yeah, so about 50 to 75 items is what I prefer. Then again, it kind of depends on the type of items, because we've scored some really good stuff that's really high ROI, big ticket stuff. Like I scored an iPad Pro, for example. I wasn't waiting to get that thing shipped in. That went in by itself. I paid the $1.50, $2 per pound, and it sold the next day. So little things like that. So it kind of, in a ballpark sense, I like to get at least 50 items a week out. But again, you kind of learn to go with the flow and adjust when you need to.
So you're sourcing from retail stores. RA, for the people who don't know what that term means, it's retail arbitrage. That's the act of going to retail stores like Walmart, Target, Barnes and Noble, buying it under market and selling for a higher price and earning that difference. So you're going to retail stores. You said now you're implementing garage sales, thrift stores. Are you still doing the liquidation? Somebody asked about, I forgot if it was called bulk.com or what it was called. I don't do any liquidation. Are you still doing liquidation? And if so,
I'm currently not doing liquidation, and here's why. It's like everyone knew those YouTube videos from the very beginning, and I joke that I oversaturated bulk.com because of those videos. I was using the crap out of it for almost 3 full months. I was doing pretty much just liquidation. The fact that I can just pay a small amount per item and I get a lot of items delivered to my house within a week, for me, that was just, it seemed like a great business model. And it was when there was easily accessible new condition pallets. Now that the market is a little bit more saturated, obviously, I mean, you've been in this long enough, you've seen the gear towards a lot more sellers now.
Yep.
People trying to get into it. Liquidation is it's attractive, which is why a lot of people flood to it. But a lot of people, especially myself, I went through many failures with liquidation, which is why I can talk about it now. Back then, I was doing great because the market wasn't saturated, and I was able to get a hold of these new pallets. Then the market got saturated. We decided, let's just take a break from it. We got reamed on an 11 pallet load. It was half a truckload got delivered here. It was unmanifested. I hate saying this. It was unmanifested customer returns. And I came into it.
What does that mean? I don't understand. What does unmanifested mean?
So anytime that you order a pallet, typically they'll give you a manifest, an Excel spreadsheet, and tells you exactly the UPC and all the items that are on it. So you can do it. This is how I was doing bulk in the beginning. Was I would look at new condition items. You're going to deal with box damage and all that kind of stuff, so you can't list everything as new. Very, very small percent is actually listed as new. So what I would do is I'd take the UPC of the manifest, plug every single item into my phone, and I'd say, okay, if I pay $500 for this pallet and there's a potential to make 1,000, that's an awesome margin, right? So then I would order it. Then I come along this thing called a truckload. I'm like, what is this? I can get 11 pallets cheaper than a normal pallet. And I ordered unmanifested, which means I didn't know what the heck I was getting. I went based on the top.
How much was it?
Here's the funny part.
You don't have to say if you don't have.
Oh, no,
you don't want it.
Since day one, I've been transparent about everything. I answer pretty much whatever people want to hear about. So I looked at the items. It was through American Pallet Liquidators, which it's a company I recommend if you're in the Indiana area because that's where they're based. This was my fault, which is why I got reamed on it. I went through these guys. They sent me pictures of the boxes they had, the pallets, which is a big brown box full of merchandise, so you can see the top of it. I saw like Star Wars boxes popping out. I'm like, ooh, I want that one and like 10 more. So I scored 11 pallets for $3,000.
Okay.
So it broke down to about $250 per item.
Okay.
Right? $2.50. I'm like, if I make $5 an item, which is super easy on some of that stuff, I can easily double my money on this load. So I message back and forth. They get my order put in. And all of a sudden the invoice comes back and they're going through different freight companies and they say the cheapest shipping we can get you is $2,800. And
on top of the 3,000,
I did not even care. I'm like, I need this load. Boom. Here's my credit card info, ordered the thing. So it was about $6,000. The stuff gets here. My wife and I, we both, my wife more so, we both basically broke down the first night we're diving through this stuff because we were just so like overwhelmed at what just happened. Because customer returns, you have to test every single thing. And when you have, I don't even remember how many thousands of units there were total. There's like 2,000 units of random stuff, cookware and toys and kitchen and all that stuff.
Wow.
We got reamed. It took 3 in our heads. We said we can do 11 pallets in 4 days based on what I was doing with bulk. And so we told ourselves we were going to be able to flip all of this within a week. It took 3 weeks just to get the stuff tested. Then we had to split it up, and about a third went to FBA, which was FBA worthy. About a third of it we sold off in our garage sales, and then a third of it went on eBay. That was 4 months ago. We still have a storage unit with about 50 toys that I'm sick of looking at. I don't even want to go in. So that's why we got out of the liquidation area, just because of the time it was taking. It was not scaling up the way I was hoping it would. So if you do liquidation, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a great business model if you have outlets to sell your stuff. You cannot FBA an entire pallet. It's just, unless you're getting shelf pulls overstock, like new pristine condition stuff, you cannot do it. You have to sell on eBay. You have to sell locally, OfferUp, all those different apps. That's my take on liquidation now.
Yeah. And it's a great segue into the topic of, and you were already mentioning it, having outlets. Outlets is so important because somebody left a comment before, and it's actually on my show notes of the next topic is, what do you do when you struggle to find items? And then there was someone who said, I can't find 50 to 100 items. I don't have time. Well, one of the keys right now to being able to put yourself in position to succeed is having those outlets, right? For example, my buddy, do you know the Bonafide Hustler on YouTube at all?
I do. Yes.
Yeah, good friend of mine. he actually has an antique booth, and he's able to buy so much more than me at garage sales, probably a good 30% more than me, because he has that outlet. So I think one of the keys that folks need to realize, and I'm still realizing it as an entrepreneur and a reseller, is the more outlets you have, the more opportunities you have as well, right? Like, for example, Chaz, if you're only selling Chaz, is that what does Chaz actually mean?
So Charles is,
I know your name is Charles.
Yeah. So Charles or Charlie is like my actual name.
Chaz was like the nickname.
Chaz was a nickname that stuck around like 10 years ago, and that's what most people call me now.
All right, I'm calling you Chaz from now on. That's got some swag to it. What are your thoughts on that? Like having multiple outlets and whatnot. I mean, what do you do? Like, do you ever have times where you struggle to find 50 or 100 items per week?
Oh, geez, yeah. If not on a weekly basis, it's tough, especially if you're busy. Because I understand a lot of people work a 9-to-5 job, sometimes longer. A lot of people have family lives. I was talking to a guy the other day, and we're messaging back and forth on Facebook. And he's like, I'm just having a hard time getting out and sourcing. And I'm thinking in my head, like, just create a time block and just do it. Like, make it a non-negotiable meeting for yourself. Get out there and do it. And he's like, yeah, I have 8 kids though. I'm like, oh crap, I have 1. I can't even. I have no advice. Yeah, so it's going to be that way, guys. Sometimes this whole thing is a roller coaster. It's just like life. It's never going to be, you guys have all seen probably that little chalkboard chart where it's like what people think success looks like. And it's going straight up. What it actually looks like.
Up, down, up, down.
That's what your sourcing weeks are going to look like. Some weeks you're going to nail it. Like this garage sale pile I have next to me. We spent $120 and we're going to make about $1,000 on it. That was awesome. That took like 4 hours, less than 4 hours. But other weeks, we're scanning stores, item after item after item, just going, damn it. Every single time it happens. So you have to have other outlets. I can give you one big tip. I'm going to hate sharing this because I know that some of my local people are going to jump on it. You guys probably know this app, right?
OfferUp. I've actually never used it.
Dude, download it now, like during the show. It's that good. It's basically nice. I love it. It's basically Craigslist, except for you just scroll through your pictures, you tap on a picture. This was actually not a bad deal.
What is it?
We got some Pantene shampoos.
Okay.
Looks like about $3 a piece. I might message her on that one. So you get people like this one, for example. I can already tell you she is a couponer who's just selling off overstock stuff, right? But you click on it, it tells pricing, you can negotiate back and forth. I have been using this thing nonstop for the last week. It's something I had on my phone. I used it every now and then. I used it to sell a lot of my old stuff, right? From pallets. All my extra stuff would go on Craigslist. I actually created my own buy sell trade group because I got tired of my posts going down. So I created my own page just for my stuff.
On Facebook?
Yeah, on Facebook. Yep. I created a like page, like a garage sale page, just for my stuff. So I had a lot of local sales, and then I found this OfferUp, started selling my stuff. About a week ago, we had a crappy sourcing week where it's like we had literally under 10 items for the whole week. We went out 2 times, sourced 10 items, and I'm like, we can't make any money doing this, like back and forth. I thought, okay, we need to just hammer down and start doing this. So several times a day, I'm checking this app. Just in the last week, I scored a stack of video games. Actually, no, those are books. You can see next to the books is a stack of video games. I posted a picture in my group last night. I paid this dude, post them up, 40 games. 39 of them were FBA eligible. So one game was out, 39 games for $40. I paid basically $1 per game. And it's all PS2, Xbox 360 stuff I can make like $15-ish on. So it's not huge. But then I found a few GameCube games in there. One of them being Star Fox Adventures and another Yu-Gi-Oh! So I was pretty excited for that. So that whole thing, I will end up estimated about $500 to $600 profit.
Wow.
Just based on a $40 investment. That was because of OfferUp. And I was scrolling. Here's my tip. And this is what I'm not going to want to share because my local people are going to watch this. I'm sharing it because that's what I do. That's what we're about, right? Free value. Scroll at night. Because
nighttime scrolling action.
I did a post about this last night. I found just last night. I'm going to go pick it up tomorrow. I found a used one-time, like new condition Breville juicer for $60, and I'll profit $180 because I was scrolling.
Breville juicer, excellent item right there.
Yes. So I was scrolling at 11:30 p.m. Guess what everyone else is doing? They're sleeping.
Oh man.
So I'm sitting here scoring. So scroll at night or midday when most people are at work.
Yeah, it's a
that's
good
when
tip.
that's when I found most of the stuff. The video game pile was at about 10 p.m.
That's how
last week.
that's how I started my reselling business. Was selling bicycles on Craigslist, and I would scroll early in the
Nice.
morning, afternoon, late at night, all times of the day, just refreshing it, and it's amazing the deals that pop up. They go quick. The good ones go quick.
Yep.
But if you're there, definitely some opportunities right there. I'm looking at the comment section right now. We got Giga Walker, Cruising Profit says multiple outlets, not limiting where you sell.
Yep.
Mike T says I have two, and it's hard to get out and source. The key will be getting down a schedule. So some people are taking your tips right there. Giga Walker says, or Gija, I'm calling her Giga. I don't know. You guys don't listen to my pronunciations. I go to yard sales here and they have junk. We have maybe 10 to 15 yard sales every week, but not much to get here. So one tip for that is, guys, wherever you guys are located in a country, you've got to realize that there's going to be certain sourcing methods that are going to work better for you, and there's going to be others that don't do as well. I'm from Connecticut. Books are abundant over here, tons of profits. But when I was in South Carolina and North Carolina, I wasn't making much money from books because they're sending them all out to Amazon and to Goodwill website. So you have to test out a bunch of different outlets and sourcing methods to see what works for you. What are your thoughts, Chaz? What are your thoughts on the competition? Look at all those. What do you got? Yard sale treasure map up?
Yard sale treasure map.
It's a great
download
right
it, check it out. Here's a tip. I had one of my members, Jesse, on a call last night, and his tip was awesome. I'm going to use it. These are pulled from Craigslist ads. So you tap on these, go to the Craigslist ad, message or call them ahead of time, and just ask them, do you have electronics, video games, new in the box stuff? Ask them what they have, right? So you can map out exactly where you need to go. That was a great tip that I wrote down, so I'm going to be using that.
Because nobody's doing it, nobody's doing it.
Yeah.
So instead of early birding them, 30 minutes early, call them up. Definitely an awesome tip. So how do you deal with competition, man? A lot of people in the reselling community, and I'm sure you've witnessed this. You have a group of 8,000 people. I don't know if this is in all industries. I'm not sure if it was like this in the fitness and health industry, but there's definitely a scarcity mindset in the reselling community with a lot of people. They're very, very worried about the competition. Now, I think some of the concerns are legit, obviously. There's more competition coming in, but a lot of people are very, very worried and concerned about what the next guy is doing. And, maybe I shouldn't go to the thrift store because there's 5 resellers in my area. What are your thoughts on like mindset in terms of having a scarcity or like an optimistic mindset and like dealing with the competition?
So my take on that, here's a prime example, is I've been recognized for I also have a fitness YouTube channel. So I was recognized from YouTube viewers in person from that. So I was kind of used to it. My first time getting recognized from FBA videos, I went up to Portland, Oregon as my nearest big city, about an hour away. So I went up to Portland, wife and I are in there scanning. I'm scanning, right? I see this dude next to me look over, kind of give me the look, and we all know the look, right? Somebody's looking. It's like you want to hide your phone. Like I posted a comment the other day. I said scanning in public is almost like public breastfeeding. Like half the people don't do it and they're ashamed, and then the other half are like, I don't care, I'm just going to do it. Whoop. So that's kind of how it goes. So I'm scanning, and this guy's like eyeballing me. I'm like, crap, he's gonna ask what I'm doing. It's gonna be awkward. I don't know if he works here, and he's like security or what. He looks over, he's like, holy crap, you're Chaz. I'm like, which channel do you watch? It's like, I'm in here scanning too. And I'm like, oh, cool. And instantly, this guy was amazing. We start kicking it back and forth. He's telling me about his story. He's 3 months into it. And, we part ways, and I went straight over to my wife, Tristan. I'm like, oh, we got competition in the store, like right this second. And that, again, I automatically went from an optimistic mindset to that scarcity. I'm like, well, crap, he's been in here for probably an hour. We should just leave. And we told ourselves, like, no, you never know. Let's just keep scanning. So I watched them scan for the next half hour, and I'm going aisle by aisle. I know I'm scanning over the stuff they already went through. And in my mind, the back of my head, I'm like, I'm not going to find crap now. They left the store. I'm going aisle by aisle, and all of a sudden I scan something and back up and go, whoa, wait a minute. There's 3 of these. Xerox toner cartridge. $3.99 for 3, or $3.99 each. 3 of them sitting there. Wow. Expiration date is like 2 years out. I'm like, oh, money. $150 those things sold for. How's that for competition? I scanned over another seller and I found that here's the thing with competition. Everyone has a different business model. Some people like 30% ROI, high turnover, the fast diamond or fast nickel approach. Some people like 100 to 300% ROI with the slow dime approach. Focus on your own stuff, right? If you want to be successful in anything, you have to focus on your own stuff, put your blinders on. Who cares what everyone else is doing? If you're hopping on a listing that has 200 people and you see that it's dropping quick, yeah, obviously that's a smart choice not to hop on that listing unless you feel like waiting out until Q4. If you hop on a listing and it's got 100 other people, but everyone's prices are steady, yeah, I jump on that stuff all the time and I sell stuff with it. It cracks me up. I'll post screenshots of what I'm selling. Oh, well, there's 80 sellers on that. I'll be sure to tag you when it sells and show you that it works. That's my take on competition. Just focus on your own stuff.
Yeah. I think it was a year ago or 2 years ago, we had a green room event where everybody came down to Austin, Texas, and you might have seen the video.
Yeah.
But we had 40 or 50 people hitting up garage sales and thrift stores all at once. I mean, literally, it was like we would walk up to a garage sale, man, and just swarm it. It was just like everything would just get incinerated. They'd just be like, "Where did my yard sale go?" Thrift stores, pawn shops as well. The funny thing is, we'd go in with 40, 50 people. And 80-90% of the people would find something. 80 to 90% of the people would walk out with something in their hand. And the amazing thing that really like smacked me in the face and made me realize it is, like you said, everybody specializes or is an expert in something different. There's so many items out there. I could name off like 100 or 200 various niches when you walk into a thrift store. And I'll take the time to name them off right now. No. But it's crazy. Yeah, I definitely agree with you right there. Looks like we're at the halfway mark, so I'm going to keep moving along. We're at the 37-minute mark, so I want to thank everybody for watching live. We've got about another 20 or 23 minutes left in the show. And yeah, be sure to smash the like button. We've got 85 people watching live right now at 12:30 in the afternoon Eastern time. Where are you located again?
I am up near Portland, Oregon.
So what time zone is that?
So that is Pacific time. I've got 9:38 on my clock.
Okay, so it's still early morning for you.
Early.
You've already worked out. I'm getting ready to go to the gym after the show. But want to thank everyone for watching live so far. Make sure to smash that like button. Be sure to check the links in the description to join Chaz's free Facebook group over at the Amazon Rockstar group. But yeah, let's keep moving with the questions. We're going to try to speed things up a little bit to get through some of these questions. Real quick, what type of margins do you like to focus on when reselling products? I know it's a general question.
It is, I basically break it down to category. If it's thrift stores or Goodwills or anything like that, then I focus on 100% or above after fees and shipping. So if I spend $5 after fees and shipping, I want to make 10 back minimum. I love the 100%. That's how I got started, was Goodwill. And we have, just like I mentioned, you mentioned in one of your videos, you have a killer Goodwill. We have one of those too. I got to know the manager, built the relationship, and I found out that they have a contract with Liquidation company. They won't give me who it is, and I can't find it out based on the sticker, but they have brand new in the box items that come. Over here, I actually have the iCloud 2 terabyte something. It's ranked number 1 in PC. Bought it for $40. I'm going to make 100 profit on it. So
I'm not sure if the show is still live right now. Something just happened real quick. Let me know in the comment section, guys, if the show is still live right now. It looks like Chaz may have freezed up.
Oh, there we go.
Are you back in action?
Back.
I wasn't sure if it was my computer. All of a sudden, it was just like boom, silence, and I'm like, is it my computer going or is it his? But what were you saying, Chaz? Cut off for about 15 seconds.
So I was saying the 100% or above is based on thrifting. If right now I'm also into RA and OA pretty heavily. So then if I can order 5 units or above, then I'll lower my standards to like 40% rock bottom, just because you want to leave a little bit of wiggle room for price drops and adjustments, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how I base the two things.
I've got a really important question for you. We're going to throw out a little crazy scenario. Let's say that you went to an abandoned desert island. And at this desert island, you could resell from only one platform. They only have, let's just say, this is going to be a weird question, but say they only have thrift stores at this abandoned island, or they only have pawn shops, or they only have retail stores, where you're only allowed to have access to a computer for online arbitrage, and a ship comes out 6,000 miles to drop off your inventory. If you could only have one, I don't know why I asked the question in such an awkward way. Entertainment, right?
What would be my tool that I bring with me?
Yeah. What would be the one sourcing method? Only garage sales, only pawn shops, only thrift stores. You only could have one for the rest of your life.
I would go thrift stores or garage sales. The smart side of me wants to say OA because that gives you outlets to thousands of products, but the treasure hunter inside of me loves that grind of treasure hunting. So I would say just because of sheer passion and a weird, sickening love for it, garage sales and thrift stores, because I love to get in there and just like, there's a freaking golden nugget in here I'm going to leave with, and that's what I want. That's what I would go with.
Awesome. Yeah, let's know. I want to know in the comment section too, guys, if you went to this weird desert island that I'm making up in my crazy mind right now, what avenue would you choose if you could only have one? But with that being said, let's shift over to, we were kind of talking about, what are some of the best ways to source products and that side of the business. Let's shift over to how to scale your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about how to build your business before sourcing, creating a schedule, listing, the different avenues. Let's talk about how to scale your business. Let's just say that, someone out there is watching live and they've only done, $1,000 in sales or $500 in sales, and they want to get to 2,000 a month, 3,000, 4,000 a month. What's the number one thing you'd recommend to a seller who wants to increase their business and scale? One big tip.
One big tip is you need to increase your time, your sourcing time. I guess I can narrow it down to time and money, right? Because those are two things that's how you scale. That's how you grow. If you're reinvesting the same $1,000 every single month to make $1,000 a month, unless you find ridiculously high ROI stuff, you're always going to make the same amount if you invest the same amount. That's why we recommend and try to invest as much as you can back into the business. So if you make $1,000, reinvest it. And if you get $1,250 back off of that, reinvest as much as you can and keep it scaling. And with that, the same thing with time. If you go out and source for 5 hours a week, every single week, unless you're cramming more stores into those same 5 hours, you're always going to come out with about the same amount of stuff. Like, Steve said, we both come out with at least like 50 items a week. If we want to scale up, we need to shoot for 60 and 70 and 100 and above. So to scale up, this is what we've done with our new scheduling routine is you have to get out, put in more time, and you have to put in a little bit more money.
So how do people go about learning like different items to get into? They want to scale. Maybe they're making, maybe their time is worth $30 an hour, when they go out and source, they've broken it down. How do you get it up to your time being worth $40 an hour, $50 an hour? In my eyes, it would be learning new items, being able to source more items. Like, so say you're only able to source 10 items per hour. If you get it up to 13 or 14 or 15 an hour, your time is going to be worth more. How do you go about educating yourself with like various products? Like, let's just say that, you want to learn about glassware, or you want to learn about calculators or books. How do you go about learning something? What is your process on education when it comes to that?
I should probably research more before I do it, but I just do it. That's kind of what I do.
Just jump out into the field. It's
literally the same thing as pallets, right? The exact same mentality as pallets. I just jump in, see what sells, and then learn about it afterwards. It's just like the term that I love. I use it everywhere I go. You have to jump and build your wings on the way down. So many people are sitting on top of the cliff, trying to like build the perfect, suit to fly, right? They're trying to sit there and build the perfect suit. And then they're like, okay, when this thing is ready, I can jump and everything's going to fly perfectly.
Wow.
Like, no, you got to jump and build it on the way down, man.
That's awesome. That's an awesome quote.
Jump and build your
way down. Did you make that up?
I didn't make that up, but I just made up the like suit building.
I was going to say, do you do merch by Amazon? Because that needs to be on a t-shirt, man.
I'm still waiting for that approval.
Front of the shirt, just jump is the front of the shirt. And then on the back is build your wings on the way down.
With like a big old wingspan on the back.
This like weird looking bird with like a ham. I don't know.
It's going to have a phone and a scanner. Dude, we're going to team up on that one.
All right.
Yeah. So it's, build your wings on the way down. So if I'm going to learn about something, the best advice I ever got as a newbie was go wide, not deep. So go wide means sell stuff from every category as much as you can. And then as you see sales come in, you're going to know where to put your focus. So it's like, we had a buttload of 5,000 books come through our hands. And those things are starting to sell pretty consistently. I'm like, maybe I should look more into books and learn more about them specifically. Same thing with video games and shoes are my two other big ones right now. So I'm learning as much as I can about video games and shoes. But, it's like kitchenware and all that other crap. I sell it sometimes, but I don't focus on it. So that's my advice is see what sells if you go wide and just go from there.
So obviously when you're running any type of business, right, whether it was your fitness business or an e-commerce business, there's a lot of things that need to be done in the business. Would you agree with me that there's hundreds of moving pieces? And to go a step further, and I just want to ask you straight up, would you agree that there's certain pieces of the puzzle that don't really make a big impact? And then there's other things that you do that really like the 80-20 rule, right? That, 20% of the things you do amount to 80% of the results. Would you agree that in an Amazon business, there's hundreds of moving pieces, but there's typically only a few that really make a big difference?
Yeah, 100%. It's just going along. You probably know Gary Vaynerchuk, right?
Yep.
Gary V. He always talks about focus on your strengths, outsource the rest. And I completely agree with that. It's like the back office and accounting stuff. I do not want to sit here and type stuff out on an Excel spreadsheet. So I have Inventory Lab and QuickBooks to do all that for me. So definitely 100% focus on your strengths. And for us, that should be sourcing. That's where you should be spending most of your time.
I was going to ask you, what do you think are the main things that people like? What are the big things in an Amazon FBA business that really amount to the results? Obviously, sourcing, listing. Is there anything else besides sourcing and listing and sending stuff out that's like the main things in your opinion? What about creating the deals with like liquidation companies and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on which model you have, I guess. Yeah, so if you're into obviously like wholesale, for example, you have to spend a lot of time communicating with wholesale companies and create those accounts, right? Because you can't get product without accounts. So yeah, it just depends. Like for me, because RA and thrifting and all this kind of stuff is, it's kind of like the easier version of all this stuff. Like PL and wholesale and all that stuff is kind of next level. We kind of have it easy with what we do. We just go buy other people's crap and sell it. So my biggest focus is get boxes out the door. That's it.
Do you have anything in your business right now that you feel like you're wasting a lot of time with, that if you had an employee or someone helping you that you'd be able to scale faster? Is there anything, maybe a bottleneck in your business right now that you'd like to maybe eventually outsource or hire someone for?
I would love to hire sourcers, especially now that we're doing the garage selling. We talked about this pretty much the whole car ride home for an hour and a half when we did this big garage sale haul last week is the golden hour, those first 2 hours of garage selling, right? That like, if you don't get stuff within those 2 hours, it's all picked over by the time, 11 or noon comes around. So what we would love to do and what we're going to focus on doing moving forward, now that we're going to do Friday, Saturday garage selling for the next 3 solid months, because up here, we actually get rain 80% of our year. So these 3 months are like, we got to grind. We got to grind hard. So I want to hire 2 or 3 people, teach them how to basic sourcing, and they can go out to different garage sales while we're doing ours. So we can get as much stuff in that golden 2-window hour as we can.
That's huge. What are some of the biggest mistakes you see new sellers making who come into your Facebook group, who are trying to scale their business, but you're like, oh, why are they doing? I wish they weren't doing that. Or like, that's a big mistake. Or like, that's going to end up being a train wreck.
Amazon condition guidelines is the number one. Way too many people are taking screenshots and saying, can I list this as new? And it's obviously got like just cut up and smash corners. Like Amazon condition guidelines, you have to read through all of terms and policies, right? Terms of service, read through all that stuff. Number 2 is just lack of action. So many people are sitting. There's so many people that message me like, hey, I have 100 products. What do I do next? Ship. Create the listing, ship. You will learn more.
Stop buying.
Exactly. You will learn more doing your first shipment by yourself than any group, anything ever that will ever teach you. So those are kind of my 2 big ones, is just lack of action and Amazon condition guidelines. Research those.
I've got an interesting question for you. I'm not sure what your take is going to be on this. Is there a such thing as building and scaling your business too fast?
Too fast? I would say there probably is. I kind of went through it with the liquidation stuff, right? I tried to build faster. So I went from purchasing 1 or 2 pallets at a time to, ooh, this shiny 11 pallet load looks nice. So for me, that would be an example of I tried to scale too fast. And because of lack of research, and we bought the unmanifested customer returns, which is like double negative. Never want to do that unless you have like a thrift shop yourself to sell out of, it's great. But for FBA, that was a horrible decision. So I tried to scale too fast, and it bit us in the butt big time.
Let me throw out a random question that wasn't on our notes. I'm gonna hit you with a curveball right now. It's not that crazy.
Sweet.
I'm just trying to scare you. It's very personal and intimate, and it has to do with breastfeeding in a thrift store. No, I'm just kidding.
Awesome.
Let's just say somebody's starting off right now. They've never sold on Amazon, and they're thinking, I don't know about you, but I'm very like, I'm a numbers guy. Like when I started a new business, I like to map it out. Like, where can I be in a year from now? Let's just say somebody maybe they have a couple $1,000s in the bank and they want to start this Amazon FBA business. How much money do you think realistically, if someone put in 20 hours a week hard, they learned, they did it all right, they tried thrift stores, garage sales, pawn shops, retail stores, they learned, they went into the Rockstars group, they went into the green room, they went into all the other free groups, podcasts, YouTube, learned everything, went crazy, took action within a year time? Do you think it's possible for someone to get to a point to make 1,000 a month, 2,000 a month, 5,000 a month, 10,000 a month? What's a realistic number you think if somebody kind of went down the route that you went down?
Let's see. I'm going to say 30,000.
$30,000.
I'm going to say for the average Joe that comes into this thing, because that's kind of what I was with the FBA world. Like, I don't do this full time. I don't put in 20 hours a week just on FBA. It's like I put in probably 60 to 80 hours a week on average, but I run 3 businesses. So it's like I put a little bit of time in each one because I love that stacking income. So for the average person, based on kind of what we've been doing, I would say if you can do 2,500 profit, which again, you have to figure out what your margins are. If you're doing a 50% net margin, you need to get, your goal is to hit 5,000 a month, right? So you want to get 50% of that, which is 2,500. Again, figure out your business model, et cetera. Multiply by 12 months, you're going to make about 30 grand. So we're on track. This is our first full year. It's like we're slowly scaling up, but we're not like, I'm not putting in 40 hours a week in this thing yet. I would be making a lot more if I was, but then my other businesses slack because that's what happened in the beginning. So I've cut back, but we're on track to hit about 40 to 50 net this month or this month, not quite yet.
When you get into the private label, you've got it.
I know, right? Yeah. So I'd say based on what we've done as like I consider myself the average seller, 30 to 50 grand is totally doable if you're ready to put in 20 hours a week.
Yeah, I agree 100%. My mother, she's been reselling for a couple of years, but she's very resistant to trying new things out. She does kind of like the bare basics, like just books and like board games and stuff like that. And she's at the point where she's doing about $1,500 to $2,000 in sales per month with somewhere around the 50% margin. And she only puts in about 10 hours per week, but she's a killer. Awesome. We call her Mama Profits. You see Mama Profits at the thrift store, she'll throw an elbow at you. She doesn't care. She's going to get that book. No, but all jokes aside, she's looking into retirement over the next couple of years. And she's been asking me, Steven, I want to retire, but I'm not sure if I can get my numbers up because she needs to get them up to probably around 4,000 a month with her margins to make a couple thousand. And I told her, based on her time, you're putting in 10 hours a week, you're bringing in probably about $1,000 profit per month around there. If you were to put in 2 to 3 times more, and that was the advice that you gave, you want to make more money, put in more time, she can get there. And it's really just a matter of putting in the time and the strategy. So it's definitely possible for young people, for folks who are 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. I know a guy, he's like 83 years old. He's doing it. So, the possibilities are really endless. So it looks like we got about 6 more minutes left on the show. Again, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to check out Chaz's YouTube channel, link in the description. Check out his free Amazon FBA Facebook group, which is over 8,000 members. But I want to say, don't go in there trolling. Don't go in there with negative stuff, because kind of like the green room as well. If you go in there and you start making negative comments and just kind of trolling, you're going to be out. Just like my YouTube channel, you make a malicious comment, you're gone. This is a positive, inspiring place for people, and we live in a negative world as it is. We don't need more negative comments. So what am I trying to say, Chaz?
Be an impact.
Yes. Have an impact on this world. Contribute.
Influence, that's the word. And I'll mention, I've got a team of 5 admins. They block people faster than I can even see the comments. I kid you not, we've had 3 fires we had to put out the last 24, 48 hours based on trolls in there. And they were kicked out so fast. I was the one that's like, what happened?
and we're doing this to help the members, right? For your group, for the group I run, for the YouTube channel, because negativity breeds more negativity. That's why it's so important. The tip I'd like to give everybody is, if you want to scale your Amazon business, and I know you probably agree with me when it comes to your fitness. If you want to scale your Amazon business or lose weight, you've got to get around people who are aligned with your goal. If you hang out with people who are, and I'm not saying you to abandon all your friends and whatnot if they're dead broke or whatever, but when you hang out with people who are dead broke, they have this mindset of like, there's not enough, and it will breed more negativity in your business. Just like if you're trying to quit smoking cigarettes and you're hanging out with people puffing and puffing and puffing, it's going to influence you. So as much as it is a physical act of growing your business, it's also very mental as well. It's kind of like, a garden, right? You have a garden, you plant a seed. If you water it and fertilize it and give it sun and take care of it and nourish it, you might not see anything happening on the outside at first, but over time, that plant's going to grow out. It's going to pop out and everyone's going to be able to see it. But a lot of it is a lot of hard work behind the scenes. No one's going to see it. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's going to pop out. And yeah, next thing you know, you're going to be rich. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if you ever watched Flipping Profits on YouTube.
I think I've seen 1 or 2 videos.
He used to have this YouTube video. It was like a comedy YouTube channel, and he'd start off his channel like, "We're gonna go in the thrift store. I'm gonna get you rich. I'm gonna get you dirty, dirty rich." And it's like, it's funny because it's not a get rich scheme doing Amazon FBA, thrifting, garage sales. I mean, Chaz just said, you work hard for a year, you hopefully can get up to a point where you make a couple grand per month. So it's hard work. It's gonna take time. But with that being said, done with my tangent. Let's see. Let's see if there's any comments in the comments section. I'm not going to read that one. These dudes kick ass. I've learned so much from them both. Mr. Dang says, "Hey, bro, just wanted to know, when doing eBay and Amazon selling, do one need a second job to support this to have funds?" What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I just talked about this in my show last night. If you plan on quitting your job and doing this full time and all that kind of stuff, I highly, highly, highly recommend you have either additional income. Like Steve and I are both fans of multiple streams of income. So everyone talks about the plan B, right? Like we have plans C, D, and E already in place. That's just how our minds work. You have to have a cash cushion. You have to have an emergency fund. Because if you go all in with this thing, you say, screw it, I'm going to quit my job. And all of a sudden, 2 months down the road, you go, well, crap, I'm not going to eat this week. That's not smart business decision. At the same time, the entrepreneur side of me wants to say, everyone quit their jobs and go for what you want. You have to be realistic. You have to have a cash cushion or additional income to pay your bills. That should be a no-brainer.
And it's going to be different for everyone else. For me, I'm a single guy. I don't have any kids. I live on my own. If you've got a family of 4 and you've got all these bills and you're in college debt, it's a whole different story, right? So what I would advise is to kind of analyze your finances. How much money do you have in the bank? How much money do you have to risk, right? How much money do you have to put into the machine? Because cash flow is going to be an issue at first. You're not going to show a profit for a while. Why? Because you're going to be investing into a lot of products. And, you might be making sales, but your cash flow, you might not be having profit come out. So that's definitely one thing to take into consideration. Brockton says, science says that you tend to be the average of the 5 people you hang out with most.
100%.
Definitely agree with that. Am Showen says, thanks, Steve and Chad, for a great, fun webinar. So people are enjoying it, Chaz.
Boom. Love it.
Success. Garage Flip says, everyone has a different risk tolerance, which I would definitely agree with. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask away. We're going to be here for another 2 minutes. Brockton says, glad I attended this. You answered my questions without me even asking.
Nice.
That's a success. Subconscious mind. We know what you want. Somebody says, okay, I'm not going to read that comment. Newbie Silver Picker says, basically source until you die and then leave all the crap to your kids.
That sounds about
right. Justin Mertz is asking, is summer selling slow for you guys on Amazon? ? No, not for me either.
That's what's cracked me up about this whole time. And I remember back in January, I had one specific person. It was an admin of another group that I kind of got kicked out of. It's a different story. So I just realized the sun came blinding down. So funny.
You're glowing, thing. Charles.
I know, right? I literally just completely lost my train of thought. What was that?
I don't know. I'm just so amazed at how clear your skin is, man, with the glowing. I don't even know what you were saying because I'm like watching your skin glow and I'm reading the comments. Let's see if we
space where
see if we have another. I space out all the time. I don't know what I'm doing with half my life. No. Where do you see the book?
Summer sales. That's what it was.
Yes.
No, back in January, I had an admin tell me, because I blew it up with pallets back then. Obviously, Q4 was huge, and I had somebody say, "Yeah, let's see how you do this summer." I've done just fine. That's all I'm gonna say.
You got to tag him in a post.
All right. I've done fine. Go where the market is. That's what I gotta say.
Don't let negative comments bring you guys down. Hang around with the people who are making it happen because they're gonna uplift you and they're gonna inspire you. They're gonna half the battle is just having your eyes open to the opportunities, because when you let the negative comments get to you, you almost like turn your head to the opportunities, and you can't, if you're not in the room with the opportunities, you're not going to hear them, you're not going to see them. So you got to be there. You got to definitely be there. Comfort Zone Studio says, thanks gentlemen for the information, it's priceless. Somebody was asking about what your group is called. It's Amazon. Is it Amazon FBA Rockstars?
Yep.
Let's see, where do you see the book market a year from now, Chaz? Will it be a dependable source of income?
I haven't been in it long enough to make like an estimation of where it's going to be, but I mean, Amazon started with books and it's been around for years. I don't see books declining in value or anything like that. I think books are going to be one of those long time, just they're going to sell forever.
Everybody said that about clothes when I started on YouTube about I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. They said, you're destroying the market. No one's going to be able to go into a thrift store and make money with clothes. People are killing it with clothes. Go on to eBay right now and just check the sold listings. I mean, it's absolutely insane. So there's definitely a lot more competition with books, but there's so many avenues. Let's see if there's any more questions. We're 2 minutes over time, so we're going to get out of here. Who do you recommend buying pallets from?
I haven't bought in 4 months, so I can't. Whichever one gives the best condition. Even here's the thing with liquidation, guys. Even if they tell you new, you're going to have to expect over 50% box damage. So you cannot list it as new on Amazon. Again, read the Amazon condition guidelines. So yeah, there's so many out there. If you can find a local one, that's even better because you can see it in person before you purchase. But whichever one you go with, make sure you get the best quality you can at the best price, and you have to have other outlets.
Awesome. So, hey, thanks again, Chaz, for coming on the live show. Appreciate everybody watching live on this webinar. We had over 100 people smack dead in the afternoon, which says a lot. I think we had a lot of your people coming over from the Amazon FBA Rockstar group. So
awesome.
For everyone in your group, if you're just getting to know me, hello. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. For everyone else, thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate the support. Hopefully we were able to add value to your life and business to help you to make more money, to create more freedom, and to be able to just enjoy your life. That's really what it's all about. Smash that like button, bada bing, bada boom. Smash that like button and show some love for Chaz and I. Again, if you've been watching and don't know who this guy is right here, his name's Charles with, he's got a YouTube channel. His nickname's Chaz as well. Information below, Facebook, email, YouTube, his group. Be sure to join it. Last question. What's your favorite book? Somebody asked. Throw you on the spot. Do you have a book that, I'm so bad at these questions. People ask me, what's your favorite movie? And it's like, or favorite song. And I'm like,
yeah.
I have no clue.
Yeah. My favorite book is a classic that anytime I, in my other health and fitness business, I can recruit coaches with me. It's the first book I send every single one of them. It's The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
I just read that book, audio book.
Seriously, it's even though it's so basic, like it's just small daily tasks and actions and choices will compound effect and snowball into a larger result. So the choices you made 5 years ago compound affected to where you sit today. So if you're broke and overweight, sorry, but it's because of your choices you made over the last 5 years. So think about that today. The small stuff, oh, I don't feel like doing this shit, man. I don't feel like going outsourcing. The small little choices you make, they're compound affecting into a negative result. So you need to switch that around, focus on the small stuff. So awesome. That's my favorite book. It's a classic.
Awesome. Hey, well, thanks so much for coming on the show. Appreciate it. Everyone who was watching, thank you so much. With that being said, maybe we'll have you on the channel sometime in the future to talk about your successes, which I know you're going to be having a lot of them over the next couple of years. So cool, congrats on your Facebook. Congrats on the YouTube. Everyone go subscribe, check them out. Until next time, we'll see you in the next live show. Thanks, Chaz.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Steve. Peace out, guys.
Peace, guys.